Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the second episode of the story in which a terrifying situation pushes Naruto to unleash something the ninja world has never seen before. Naruto now holds a position of enormous power. What is a troublemaker to do when he has the ability to appear wherever he wants? Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Let's get this party started. This is the stupidest thing I have ever done, Naruto complained as he stared at the cut-up tree in front of him. Why do I have to do this if I can just bamf up to the top? Naruto, Kurenai said as she pinched the bridge of her nose. It isn't about getting up the tree, it's about learning to control your chakra. Still doesn't seem useful to me, Naruto whispered as he ran towards the tree. He made it just higher than his last try before he had to flip backwards and land on the ground. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, continue to spar with Shino upside down on the branches high above him. You need to concentrate on centering your chakra to your feet. You just need enough to stick to the tree. Oh, that's what I was doing wrong, Naruto said, sarcasm dripping from every word. Hinata dodged anther punch from Shino, only to toss a kuni at Naruto, who yelped and jumped out of the way. Okay. They seem to be enjoying themselves, said Kakashi as he leaned on his crutches. Naruto tried and failed again after a steady stream of curses and him bamfing back and forth on the ground uncontrollably. His control is terrible, Kurenai said as she put a hand over her mouth watching the blonde throw his tantrum. He seems to have just too much chakra to control. Yeah, that's why he needs this training the most, Kakashi said watching Naruto focus and charge again, getting nowhere. We were so focused on getting him used to his dojutsu that we disregard the basics. He will get it down, Kurenai said as Naruto took out his tonfas and started to slash at the large tree, chipping wood off of it, releasing his anger. How is my team doing? They just got back from the bridge safe, Kakashi said as he stepped forward. I believe it will be quiet for at least another week. Good, Kurenai said as Naruto fell on his back with a thud. Curses filled the air that even caused Kakashi to raise his eyebrow. He will need it. Must have learned that from Ankaken, Kakashi said as Naruto got up with a fiery look in his eyes. He charged forward screaming something about youth only to trip and go headfirst into the tree, knocking him out. And there's Gaizen. Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she dropped from the branch and landed next to the groaning Naruto. He will be fine, Hinata-kun, Kurenai said after walking over to them. Let's head back for dinner. Shino-san, can you carry Naruto? I could, Shino answered as he started to walk away, causing the others to face fault. Shino-kun, Hinata said, giving him the puppy dog eyes. Shino didn't have to look back, he only lowered his head and walked back to pick up the passed out troublemaker. I still can't get this, Naruto said to himself as he stared at the tree. It has been 4 days since they first started on this exercise and Naruto was still having trouble with the concept. He managed to apply too much chakra, blowing apart his old tree, which caused him to smile at that particular failed attempt. Now he was dialing that amount down till he found the right amount. Naruto fell backwards with a tired sigh. A nap would do him well after the 4 hours of straight training. Naruto stared at the green canopy above him and his body slowly relaxed. If you sleep out here too long you will catch a cold, said a soft voice that stirred Naruto from his slumber. Cleaning his eyes, Naruto had to do a double take. In front of him was young woman. She had long black hair that cascaded against her pale skin. Her big brown eyes bored into him with the type of stare that he read about in his novels. She was beautiful in Naruto's opinion and he had to keep himself in check. For one, he didn't know this person that was able to sneak up on a Shonen, sleeping or not. 2, Hinata would kill him. Naruto slowly leaned forward and looked at what the woman had in her hands. She seemed to be collecting herbs, and from his time with Ankaken he knew that they were for pain relief and faster healing. Thinking quick, Naruto pulled on his facade smile. Haku answered in her soft voice as she smiled back at him. Well, Haku, Naruto said as he stood and measured himself up. She was slightly taller than him, but then again, who wasn't? She had the reach on him if he was to engage her right away, and he still didn't have a lot of chakra. Naruto pointed at her basket in her arms filled with herbs. Since you helped me, I guess the least I can do is help you pick herbs. Oh, why thank you, Haku said with a kind smile. They stared at each other and dared the first one to make a move. What were you doing out here? I was training, Naruto said with a smile and took the first step. He kept her to his side, not exposing his back. Kakashi taught him that mistake the first time they trained, that hidden technique shouldn't be allowed on anyone under the age limit. I'm a ninja from Koona. Oh really? Haku asked as she walked next to him as if countering his move. Naruto smirked to himself, his assumption was close to correct. Of course, he could just be paranoid, but he had a bad feeling about this. Why are you training? So I can become Hokage, Naruto said, turning fully to Haku, who mirrored his action immediately. It was becoming a shogi match. Why do you want to be Hokage so bad that you would endanger yourself in just training? Haku asked, as if she never has seen such an act. Naruto let out a steady laugh as he leaned down and picked up some herbs from the ground and twirled them in his hand. I'd rather be the one hurt than the ones I care about, Naruto said seriously. I have a bunch of people I want to make sure I can protect, and the only way to do that is to get stronger. Your precious people? Haku whispered as she turned away, giving him a shot at her back. It was a daring move, almost baiting him to attack. Naruto instead tapped her shoulder and she turned towards him slowly. Excatly, Naruto said with a smile as he handed her the herb he picked up. And I see you have the same motivation for someone else. Haku's eyes narrowed and the temperature started to drop around the two of them. Nawat's smile never left his face. He let go of her shoulder and held the herb up a bit more. He whirled it between them, showing the small white flowers and little seeds on them. This will cure infections and help close wounds, Nawat said as he looked from the herb back to the girl. Such as scrapes, burns, cuts, and stabs. A useful herb, Haku said, eyes never leaving Naruto's. Yup, Naruto said as he dropped it in her basket. The herb hit his basket and time stood still. Naruto turned and started to walk away, causing Haku to gawk at him. What are you doing? Haku choked out. Naruto looked over his shoulder. Make sure he is 100%, Naruto said with a smirk. Cause Kakashi will be, and you seem like a nice girl. I don't want it to be too easy for me when we meet again. What is your full name? Haku asked, now regaining her composure. Naruto kept walking with a slight chuckle. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto answered calmly, then yelled. The tiger of Konoha and future Hokage. Weird, Haku said as she walked away from him with a smirk. But cute. So you sure it was another ninja? Kakashi asked as he sipped his tea. He was almost completely healed, just a bit sore in places. Yeah, Naruto said as he flipped a page in his book. She acted like Naomi in Ika Ika Volume 2. When she had to infiltrate the hidden spa springs. Really? Kakashi said with a perverted giggle. So? No, Naruto answered with a flip of the page. I couldn't imagine what Hinata would do to me if she found out. Still good to dream, right? Kakashi answered as he sipped his tea again with another giggle. Naruto only nodded his answer in response. What are we looking at? Kakashi asked as Kurenai entered the room. What do you mean? Naruto asked, looking at him crossly. What information can you gather from your experiences? Kakashi asked, causing Naruto to look up with a puzzled look. You are in an espionage group. Gathering intel with the slightest clues is going to become second nature. So, with that said, what can you tell me? Okay, Naruto said, putting his book down and drummed his fingers on the cover. It took him a minute, then his eyes lit up. First, we know she is a range fighter. She was able to strike with deadly precision from a location unknown by the Chunin in the area the first time we met. So that makes her fast and silent. She uses the senbon needles as the weapon of choice. One doesn't get that good with a weapon without having a bit of fetish for it. Hancock and prime example with the kuni. Right-handed by the way she held her basket, and has an ability to blend well in the crowd. I would rank her Chunin or low Jonin. Nice, Kakashi said as he looked over at Kurenai, who nodded with approval. Now go and rest. I have to get back to training, Naruto said as he pocketed his book. Kurenai gave it an evil look. I'm really getting the hang of it. On the way out of the room he ran into Kiba and Sasuke, who were facing off against one another. They seemed to be in the middle of settling a disagreement when the two lashed out at each other in the open training field. Naruto looked over and saw Sakura teary-eyed, sitting next to Hinata and Shino. So why is Duck Butt and Dog Boy fighting? Naruto asked when he appeared next to Shino. Sakura jumped a bit from while the Hinata only smiled. Well, it seems that Sasuke, Shino said just over a whisper, has shown some extreme ignorance and has insulted Sakura's skills at genjutsu. Kiba, having enough of his attitude, slugged him across the face, causing Sasuke to fly outside. And here we are. Interesting dinner I've seemed to missed, Naruto said as he crossed his arms. And don't listen to him, Sakura, he's just on some ego trip again. Your eyes have finally opened to see it. Hey Kiba. What's up? Kiba asked as he jumped back from one of Sasuke's swings, putting a safe distance between them. Hey, I need some more help with that stupid tree walking, Naruto said, walking out in between the two fighters. If you're done wasting your time with the team, I could use some pointers. Naruto-kun? Hinata questioned and was about to take a step forward when Shino put his head up. He's diffusing the situation peacefully, Shino whispered, causing Hinata to nod her head and step back to Sakura, who dried her eyes and looked at the two of them. Sounds like you're asking for help, dope, Sasuke spat. You're weaker than I thought. Asking for help doesn't make one weak, Sakura said as she crossed her arms with a cold stare that would give Kurenai a run for her money. She turned to Kiba and dropped the glare. Kiba, thank you. You're a pack member, Kiba said with Akamaru barking in agreement. We look out for each other. Naruto, let's roll, we got a lot of practice to get to. Sure, Naruto said as Akamaru jumped into his arms and Naruto grabbed Kiba's shoulder. Kiba smirked and they were bamfed away. How does he do that? Sasuke yelled. Why does a weakling like him have the ability to do that? Let's go, Shino, Hinata, her hands shaking a bit in rage. I might not be able to control my actions if I keep listening to this trash. What did you say, half-breed? Sasuke asked, looking at Hinata, who continued to walk away. Sakura looked between them and Sasuke, who was staring at her. Sakura made the decision that would forever be remembered. She turned her back on Sasuke and followed Hinata and Shino, not even shedding a tear. Sakura caught up to them and could hear a slight angry buzzing sound escaping Shino while Hinata had a stone-cold look. Sakura knew they were upset from the comments from Sasuke, and she felt ashamed for being on the same team as him. They stopped at an open area that they used for training and turned to each other. Sakura, Hinata said as she looked over at her. I'm only going to say this once. If you want to be our friend, there is one thing you can't do. What is that? Sakura asked at the crazy statement. Well, Hinata said as she crossed her arms over her chest. Naruto, he's mine. You can look, but can't touch. Huh? Sakura asked Shino, face-palmed. Are you guys a couple now? Hinata said as she looked away, face flushing. Not really, I mean he hasn't asked yet. But I know he will soon. Okay, Sakura said, giggling. I promise. Good, Hinata said with a confident smirk. Do you have any restrictions, Shino? Sakura asked with a mischievous smile. Am I not allowed to flirt with someone? No, Shino said, waving his hands in front of him. I'm just as shocked as you. But no, the only thing I ask is don't get weirded out by symbiotic relationship. I'm not a fan, but I won't get weird, Sakura said. Now what are we going to do for training? Well, Hinata said, looking back at her. Since we don't really know too many different genjutsus, we were hoping you could teach us a couple of ways to detect and stop them. Then we will work from there. Okay, Sakura said as she smiled at them. But I must warn you, Kurena-sensei has said that my abilities, for some reason, are harder to detect. All the more better, Shino answered as he crossed his arms. If we can detect and stop yours, others will be easier. You can also improve yourself by finding a way to become almost undetected by practicing on people who know you're about to cast a genjutsu. One thing, guys, you are already in one, Sakura said confidently as the ground gave out and both Hinata and Shino tried to break it. How did you do that? Hinata asked as she looked over at Sakura, who helped her to her feet. I didn't even see you do hand seals. Well, I have a small genjutsu that I learned that blurs the sight for a second or two, she said as she walked back to her spot. In that second I can form the necessary hand seals without you knowing. Wow, Shino said, pushing up his glasses, truly impressed. And the team called you weak. You ready for round 2? Sakura asked with a slight blush. The other two nodded. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is relax, Kiba said from his position next to the tree. Akamaru had the same problem. Just let it happen, don't force it. Wow, Naruto said as he walked up 2 steps using Kiba's advice, then his third rocketed him off the tree and into another. Damn it, tighty all. Close, Kiba said as he helped him to his feet. Listen, after we get this down I do have a favor to ask. Sure, Naruto said as he rubbed his head. If I get this down you can get whatever you want. Well, Kiba asked as he looked around, I always wanted to learn to use a weapon. But with my clan's techniques I have trouble using anything. I want you to help me find a weapon that suits my style. That could be fun, Naruto said as he stood up and stretched. I was only given one because we are an assassination and espionage squad. When we get back I can ask Hanko Nizan. If she isn't busy she will help. Cool, Kiba said as he fist pumped as Akamaru barked happily. Let's get you up that stupid tree. Naruto and the others were eating around the dinner table, each talking happily. Sasuke was sitting at the end staying out of conversation, not looking over at them. Kakashi was flirting with Tsunami while Tazuna was drinking happily. Sakura and Hinata were in deep conversion on how her Byakugan can see the genjutsu. Sakura wanted to find a way to stop that and Hinata was going to prove her wrong. It started a friendly rivalry between the two who were seen constantly training now. Shino looked over at Naruto who was eating quickly. Slow down, Naruto, Shino whispered. You're going to get sick. I can't, Naruto said as he took a big gulp from his water. I have to get the tree walking down. I'm almost done. You're still on that dope, Sasuke said with a cocky laugh. I finished it yesterday. Your point? Naruto said, raising an eyebrow. Hinata and Sakura got it the first day, and Shino the day after. You beat the dead last by a day? You still haven't done it, Sasuke said, eyes narrowing. I will today, Naruto said with a smirk. My flames of youth are burning with the fire of several stars. I will succeed tonight. Whatever, Sasuke said, scoffing a bit. Why do you even try? Yelled a voice. Inari showed up and threw his little bitch fit, which caused Naruto to raise his eyebrow. Gato will just send someone stronger and kill you guys. Quit bitching, Naruto said, looking at him coldly. I've been through too much to just lie down and die at the hands of some overgrown mummy. I will stop this man, then I will see to it that Gato is stopped. You have my word. I never go back on my word. So if all you're going to do is sit around and cry about what has happened and refuse to not change what is happening, you can get out of my way and leave me to my own death. Inari watched in awe as Naruto stood and walked out of the room. Inari was shaking in both anger and shock. He couldn't believe what he'd just heard. Kakashi put a hand on the young kid and gave him a slight eye smile. You have to understand one thing, Kakashi said to him. He's had a very rough childhood and he doesn't believe in no-win situations. So when he sees people just lay down and take whatever happens next makes him extremely upset. You could learn a lot from him, but first you must learn to believe in yourself. Finally, Naruto shouted happily as he looked down at the ground from the top of the tree. That will show the stupid team. With that, Naruto started to do his happy dance only to fall to extreme chakra exhaustion and pass out. He was falling to the ground when he was caught out of the air by a Hinata. She stroked his forehead and checked if he was okay before she brought him back. Hinata was confronted by Kakashi, who was smirking at her as she blushed. So you were? Kakashi asked, looking at her with an eye smile. Spying? No, Hinata said, looking at the wall. I was merely practicing my espionage skills when Naruto passed out. I caught him and brought him back. But he did get it, just like he promised. He can climb the tree. Very good, Kakashi said as he roughed up the sleeping blonde's hair. Naruto was wrapped in covers and snoring slightly. Tomorrow will be a busy day, leave him to rest. I want you and Shino to stay outside. They still don't know about you two yet, and we need to play that to our advantage. Where do you want us stationed? Shino asked from his position leaning against the wall, arms folded. Stay under the bridge till the fighting breaks out, Kakashi said as he motioned them out of the room. They walked to the table where Team 7 was waiting. I will be joining Team 7 on the bridge. Sakura, I want you to be glued to Tazuna, nothing is to happen to him. Kiba and Akamaru, you'll be in charge of Team 7 after Kurenai and I engage Zabuza. Why him? Sasuke yelled out, smashing his fist into the wood table. Enough said, Shino commented, pushing his glasses up a bit. You want to take this outside, bug boy? Sasuke asked. Shino gave a slight chuckle, but the buzzing of his kikaiku seemed showed that he was indeed ticked. Oh, Shino said calmly. You don't want that? Sasuke, Kurenai said, giving him a look. Kiba's in charge. Next, Kakashi said as he looked at them. He will be using the mist technique he used last time. That is why Kiba will be telling you where he will be attacking from. Hinata and Shino will jump in as soon as you guys engage his partner. She will more than likely attack you guys using the mist. Hinata, you will intercept her before she gets close to Tazuna. Kiba, as soon as that happens, you and Sasuke will be allowed to help. Shino, you will be in charge as soon as you make yourself known. Stay just in range of both battles. I want you to be able to assist either company in a moment's notice. Everyone ready? Yes, Kakashi-sensei. They coursed to Sasuke-chan. The next day Naruto awoke with a groan. He was extremely sore as he stretched his neck. He looked around the room that he shared with Shino and noticed that he was gone. Naruto yelped. He overslept again. Naruto ran around the room putting on his clothes and picked up his headband. He jumped out the window and landed on the tree, sticking the landing. With a smirk, Naruto took off into the woods towards the bridge. He couldn't believe that he was running late, and that they wouldn't wake him. What the? Naruto asked as he looked down. There was a large puddle of blood and a slade bore a few feet away. Naruto landed and checked it out. The cuts were not made by any hunting tools and he could tell that it was killed for fun. Naruto turned back towards Tanuza's house and sighed. Shit. Now we don't need both of them, do we? Asked one of the thugs. He had his blade resting on Inari's throat. If you kill him I will. Tsunami started to say, only to disappear. The two thugs gawked at that and turned to see Inari stare back at them. Then Inari smirked and exploded. The two thugs were launched outside where they landed next to three Naruto clones. The thugs, moving slowly from the extreme burns and cuts, got into a fighting stance. The first Naruto clone jumped forward, exploding in a flashbang. Disoriented and blinded, the two thugs didn't see the other two clones flank them. The two clones grabbed hold of them in a stronghold and smirked. "You should never have threatened anyone precious to me," Naruto said as he walked out of the tree line. Naruto then appeared in front of them, slashing quickly across the stomach and jumping back as the clones exploded. Inari came out of the tree line with Tsunami, who were both smiling. "Thank you, Naru-kun," Tsunami said. Somehow Hinata told her of his favorite nickname and it stuck. "You saved us." "The hero in the story always shows up just in time," Naruto said, giving his nice guy poise. Inari walked up to him crying. "I wasn't strong enough." "You did great," Naruto said, putting a hand on his shoulder. "You gave me the perfect distraction, just like we planned." "Wah," Inari said, wiping his tears. "Now I have to get to the bridge and save the day," Naruto said with a smirk. Inari looked back at his mom, who smiled down at him. Inari ran off, catching his mom by surprise. "I have to get the troops together," Inari yelled back. "Today we take back wave." Hinata dodged another barrage from the Ice Mistress as she continued to move forward, hoping to strike her with her Junkin. Haku leapt back only to have to dodge another attack from Kiba as he came barreling by. Kiba stopped his fang over fang and stopped next to Hinata, who was panting. Sasuke launched a huge fireball which caused Haku to leap high in the air. She flashed through hand signs, launching a barrage of ice needles towards them. They leapt back and into a tight formation with Kiba in the front. "Sasuke," Kiba said sternly as Sasuke flashed through hand signs of his own and Haku stumbled backwards before shaking her head. She looked up, but it was too late and Hinata was already in range as she started to slash out with her Tanto. Haku, thinking quickly, made a nice sword and countered her and stabbed it into her gut. Hinata cried out, then was silenced as Haku kicked her aside. Sasuke was next to attack as Kiba got Hinata back to Shino. "Shino," Kiba yelled as he dropped Hinata into his arms. She took a stab wound to her stomach. "Get her to Sakura, see if she can heal any of it. I will hold this ice bitch off." "Right," Shino answered as he jumped back. Akamaru yelped as he was kicked out of his man-beast clone and slid to a stop in front of Kiba, who cursed slightly. "This was going to suck. You two have proven truly troublesome," Haku said from behind her mask. Kiba spat blood on the floor as he picked himself up. Akamaru was back with Shino, and most of his jutsus were used in combination with him. Sasuke looked down at him with a disgusted stare. "You call yourself strong?" Sasuke asked as he looked at Kiba. "Get up. You treat your teammate like that?" asked Haku. "You are not at all what I thought Koona Shonbi are like. No matter, give up now. I do not wish to kill you." "Like you could," Sasuke said, getting into his stance. Kiba looked crossly at him before getting into his. "We will not let you harm Tanusa," Kiba said, his mouth dripping blood and a small bit coming down from his forehead. "I will gladly lay down my life to protect him." "That's more like the Shonbi I know," she said, lowering her head. "That just makes this harder." "This isn't good," Kiba said as they were surrounded by ice mirrors. Haku appeared in everyone and pulled out a handful of senbon needless. It all happened too quickly. The dome was filled with the deadly projectiles and Kiba and Sasuke barely had time to dodge. Kiba took a couple in his shoulder and back while Sasuke was able to deflect most. Kiba looked back at Sasuke, who flashed through hand signs and launched a giant fireball at the mirror. The ending result was Haku standing the mirror untouched. Sasuke gawked a bit and was caught off his guard as another barrage of senbon filled the dome. Kiba reacted and threw the Uchiha aside, taking several hits from the senbon. Kiba snarled towards the figure in the mirror, who looked taken aback. Ripping off his jacket, the senbon needles fell to the floor. Blood lined his entire body from several hits and slowly dripped to the floor. "You," Kiba said, looking over at Sasuke, whose eyes narrowed as Kiba fell to one knee, blood loss taking its effect. Kiba coughed and spat on the ground again. "You, never hesitate, Shinobi know better than that." "I," Sasuke said as he stood up and his eyes hardened. "You fool. I'm an Uchiha. An elite. I don't need help from trash like you." "That so-called trash," Haku said, shaking her head. "Saved your life." "I was fine," Sasuke said as he looked at her. Kiba just fell to the floor with a thud. "Sure team," Kiba said as he struggled to get up. "Don't try it, Kiba," said a new voice. Appearing in the dome, Naruto knelt down and picked up the bloody Kiba. Naruto's aura was giving off a soft red hue. "I might get your new clothes a bit dirty," Kiba said, giving him a bloody smile. Naruto returned the smirk and threw him over his shoulder. Kiba grunted in pain as he was adjusted. "Don't worry," Naruto said seriously. "I will be sure to give you the bill once I get it dry cleaned." Hee hee, Kiba said as they bamped away. Naruto appeared next to Shino, who took Kiba off his hands. Shino looked back at Naruto, who had a dark look. "Naruto," Shino said as he positioned the now passed out Kiba on his shoulder. "Hinata." "I know." Naruto's face darkened and a flare of red came over him. His anger was slowly building. "I will let you know about her condition as soon as I return," Shino said as he turned away with Kiba. "Save some for me." "Can't promise anything," Naruto said, his eyes glowing silver. Naruto appeared back in the dome and watched as Sasuke started to deflect all the senbon thrown at him. Sasuke had an unbelievable smirk on his face. His eyes had become different and Naruto knew what it was. He revived his bloodline within himself. Sasuke was now a true Uchiha and he was going to be even more of a problem. Sasuke looked back at him as his eyes showed the tome in each eye. "See what true power is, Naruto?" Sasuke asked as he crossed his arms. "Sharingan." Naruto just huffed his annoyance as he appeared in front of him, causing Sasuke's eyes to widen. Sasuke still couldn't track his movements. Anger seemed to emit from the raven-haired boy. Naruto still had a serious look as he grabbed him by the collar. Sasuke looked down shocked as they were both bamped out of the dome and Naruto was holding Sasuke over the water at the side of the bridge. Sasuke grabbed the blonde's arm and tried to escape his grasp. Naruto said slowly, then he calmed himself down a bit. "You are the fool. Kiba sacrificed himself for you. What do you do in return? You spit in his face and say it was his fault. You're, whatever." Naruto dropped the screaming raven-haired boy into the water and turned back towards the ice dome. He bamfed back inside. Standing in the middle of the ice dome, Naruto slowly pulled out his tonfas. Haku appeared in the mirror in front of him and stepped out. "This will be our final meeting," Haku said solemnly. "Only one will leave this dome alive. I hope you can understand. You almost killed Kiba," Naruto said, ignoring her. His anger boiling and his skin started to glow. His silver eyes boring into her with intensity. "Hinata him?" It was like a light switch was hit, and the Naruto that Haku met the day in the clearing was gone. In his place is what could only be described a nightmarish monster. Haku never felt such killing intent in her life. She jumped back into her mirror and watched as Naruto lowered himself to all fours, dropping his tonfas on the ground with a slight clang. Naruto's face was darkened and his whisker marks on his face deepened. Naruto looked up and in a flash he ported right in front of the mirror. The explosion that followed knocked Haku back from her mirror. She looked around and noticed all the mirrors seemed to have exploded at once. Naruto was still in the middle with what looked like a slight tail of chakra growing out of him. Then his silver eyes widened, he flashed forward and Haku was punched square in the face, her mask shattering from the impact. As she flew backward she was met by two clones that exploded, launching her back towards the monstrosity that was now roaring with rage. Haku tried to put up a defensive shield of ice that was shattered by one fist. Naruto appeared next to her and exploded again, but this time it was a flashbang clone. Haku's eyes were blinded and she felt another powerful punch to her stomach and she flew into the open arms of another clone. Her vision coming back to her, she saw Naruto standing right in front of her. "I'm a broken tool," Haku said as she lowered her head. "I have no further use. Kill me." "Broken tool," Naruto yelled as he looked at her with a confused look. "Zabuza has no further use of me," Haku said, looking up at him. Her legs gave out and the clone picked her up bridal style but still locked her hands. Tears streamed down her face. "He will no longer need me." "Why do you belie that?" Naruto yelled as he looked at her baffled. "You can't just give up, you have so much more to offer. Why would you waste it all for him?" "He took me in," Haku said, looking up at him with tears. "He gave me a purpose and family. Now that I've failed to keep him out of harm's way, I am broken. Zabuza doesn't need a broken tool. He needs to be safe. Please Naruto-kun, kill me. I hurt your precious person, that is unforgivable." "Fine," Naruto said as he raised his fist back, his evil aura appearing again. "Naruto," yelled a voice from behind. Naruto turned to see Shino with his weapon out, stabbing what looked like a thug in the side. "We are no longer fighting Zabuza and his partner." "What?" Naruto asked, turning back to Haku with his fist shaking. "She hurt Hinata. And she will be punished," Shino said as he twirled his saber and took out 3 thugs at once with an acrobatic move. "But Gato has just turned on Zabuza. Now we are to take out Gato at once." "But," Naruto said, turning towards the shocked-looking Haku who had tears falling to the floor. "Plus," Shino said as he appeared next to Naruto and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Hinata is in stable condition. Kurenai and Sakura have her now. So she will be alright?" Naruto asked as he slowly started to revert back to his normal self. "Well," Shino said as he pushed his glasses up. "She's not out of the woods, We need to get her some serious medical treatment, but she's better. Naruto-kun, said Haku looking up at him. Zabuza has trained me in medical jutsu, let me make up for my mistake. Shino, take her to the others, Naruto said looking down at the enemy ninja. I don't trust her, so if she does anything, kill her on the spot. You have my word, Shino said as he grabbed Haku in his arms bridal style. Haku was extremely weak and broken, but if she is going to die, she would die trying to right her wrongs. Haku looked up at the man holding her and couldn't help but blush a bit. She then refocused herself and turned towards the group that was gathering around young women on the floor. Naruto turned back to where he saw Kakashi and Zabuza facing off against an army of thugs. Naruto appeared behind them and coughed a bit to gain their attention. Kakashi looked back, as did Zabuza. So this is the Jinchuriki, Zabuza said. He looked completely beat and had several cuts and one large gaping hole in his shoulder. I have to say I'm impressed you brought down Haku, not many can. You turned her into a brainwashed weapon, Naruto yelled, not registering the first comment. Tell me why I shouldn't kill you. No, all she ever did was love you like a father. While you just use her to do your bidding and nothing more. What's your name, boy? Asked Zabuza as he coughed up blood on his bandages around his mouth. Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto answered in a cold tone. Zabuza chuckled as he turned towards the group. Naruto Uzumaki, repeated Zabuza. You will do great things, I only wished we could have met on different terms. We could have been good friends. There's still a chance, Naruto said as he walked forward towards the massive thugs. The preformed, the shocking, and out of nowhere was 1,000 clones of Naruto. Zabuza was shocked and stumbled backwards on his butt and looked at the blonde-haired kid. Kakashi chuckled as he too sat down on the bridge. We will finish our conversation later. Naruto, Kakashi said as he covered his eye. Keep Gato alive if possible, I want to question him. You heard him, boys, Naruto shouted. Everyone is free game except Gato. And don't think you can hog all the glory, shouted a kid's voice from behind. Naruto turned to see Inari and what looked like the entire village. Inari shot a single arrow into the group of thugs, striking one of them before the rest of the village charged forward. For wave. Hinata awoke with a groan as she looked around. She was back at her room in Tanuza house, only difference was the added company in her bed. Naruto was sleeping soundly next to her, holding her hand. She smiled down at the blonde as she brushed some of his longer blonde locks out of his head. Naruto stirred and looked around. He was shocked to see Hinata up. Hinata, Naruto yelled as he wrapped her in his arms. I never want you to do that again. Oh, Hinata said, causing Naruto to lean back and look her over to make sure she's okay. Hinata blushed but stopped him. I'm okay, Naruto. Good, Naruto said as he got out of the bed. Sorry for crashing next to you. Kinda got a bit tired waiting for you to wake up. How long was I out? Hinata asked as she looked down at her bandages that were wrapped around her stomach. 2 days, Naruto said, sitting next to her on the bed. Hinata, I almost lost you, and I kind of lost control of myself. What happened? Hinata asked as she grabbed his hand. Naruto shook his head and looked up at her. I don't know, Naruto said as he scratched the back of his head. I just know that Kakashi is bringing me to the Hokage as soon as we get back to Koona. I hope everything will be okay, Hinata said, sounding kind of worried. Naruto waved her off. It's fine, they just have to show me something, he said, Naruto said. I do have something I want to give you before we go down and see the others. Really, what is it? Hinata asked, tilting her head to the side. Naruto searched his pockets, muttering, where is it? Before he looked up at her. Oh, here it is, Naruto said as he leaned in quickly and gave her a small peck on her cheek. Hinata epped, flushed blood red, and then proceeded to pass out on her bed. Ha, still got it. Well, it seems that all is in order, Kakashi said as he, Kurenai, and both teams stood on the bridge. Gato's dead, and now you guys are going to be extremely busy with all the new business. Well then, we shall be in touch. Yes, try to stay in touch, Tazuna said with a smile, stepping in between Kakashi and his daughter. But not too much. Zabuza-san, Naruto said as he looked up at the bandaged sword wielder. He had his arm in a sling and still had bruising around his face. I can't say it was a pleasure. Feelings a bit mutual, Zabuza said as he extended his hand. Naruto shook it and Zabuza pulled him into a sort of hug, but whispered into his ear. I want you to take good care of Haku. She's all I got. She doesn't know she's leaving with you yet. I promise to take care of her just like family, Naruto said with a smirk. As long as you stop by and teach me some of your badass assassination techniques. Deal, Zabuza said. But I have to fix things and mist first. Once done you will regret you ever muttered those words. Bring it on, Band-Aid boy, Naruto said loudly as he jumped out of his grasp. I hate you, yelled Zabuza as Haku walked forward and bowed to the group. "It will be nice to see you all again," Haku said, her eyes darting to Shino then back to the rest of the group. "I hope. You won't have to hope for anything," Zabuza said, putting a hand on her shoulder. "You will be going to Koona where they can protect you. I will be back as soon as I can, but till then I leave you with Naruto-kun. He has agreed to take you and his family." "You serious?" Haku asked, a bit out of character. Her eyes tearing up, which caused Zabuza to wipe his own eye. "Thank you, Oto-san." Haku walked over to the teams and stood between Naruto and Shino. Sasuke was still fuming that the blonde dropped him off the bridge and was standing way off to the side, sulking, not even caring about goodbyes. Kakashi turned and started to walk with a quick wave over his shoulder, followed by Kurenai and her team. Naruto was talking to Inari while his team slowly started to walk off with Haku in tow. "Well, now that the waterworks are done," said Kazuna, but was silenced as Naruto and Inari started to cry happy tears. "Ugh, get going now." "Hee hee," Tsunami said as she closed her orange book that Kakashi and Naruto got her addicted to. "So what are you going to be naming the bridge? How about the Great Naruto Bridge?" Inari asked, looking up. His grandfather could only nod. "Perfect," Tazuna said as he took a sip of his sake. "My masterpiece is named after a fish cake. It will do, I guess." Naruto washed his face for the upteenth time and looked at himself in the mirror. He couldn't believe what the Hokage and Kakashi just told him. He stood with his pants on in his small bathroom. His shower was on for what seemed like an hour, the water long past cold. He didn't even make it to the shower. He just kept splashing water over his face, flashbacks of what the people of the very same village has done to him entering his mind. It all started to make sense now. He was the jailer of the demon Kyuubi. Naruto sighed as he stood up straight and channeled chakra into the seal that was located on his stomach. That was when realization hit him: he wasn't the demon. He was the reason the demon was not killing everything in its path. He was the true protector of a village of idiots. Naruto couldn't help but feel a foxy grin come across his face. If they were afraid of him before then, he would embrace that. He would show everyone what he was and let them sort out which side they wanted to stand. "Naruto-kun," came the soft voice at the door. "You've been in there ever since you got back from the Hokage. You alright?" "Yeah," Naruto said as he turned off the water and turned to the door. He opened it to see Haku looking down at him with a concerned look. She arched an eyebrow at the half-naked teen, then she noticed the seal. "We have to talk." "And why would you think I would not be with your Naruto-kun?" Haku said with a chuckle. Naruto told her the entire story of how he was the village's sacrifice and how the Kyuubi was now sealed inside of him. "Have you forgotten that my father is the demon of the mist? Granted, he doesn't have a demon sealed inside of him, but I've seen plenty to call into question his humanity." "Thanks, Haku-chan," Naruto said after receiving a hug from the older girl. "Now I want to tell some of the others, then I will tell the rest." "You mean Iruka and his stalker?" Haku questioned as Naruto got up and put on his jacket only. He was not going to hide the seal, he was going to embrace it. Let the entire village fear him. Ankanisen was rubbing off on him. "No," Naruto said as he tied his headband around his head. "All Chunin and above have been notified. I want my friends to know, Hinata, Shino, Shikamaru, Choji, and Kiba. I want them to know." "Okay," Haku said as they walked out the door. Naruto had a new air about him that almost seemed to emit a maturity that he never had before. After rounding all the people they met at Training Ground 7, Shikamaru was laying on his back staring at the clouds with Choji munching on his chips. Shino was playing with 3 butterflies that were hovering above his right hand as Haku tried to get a conversation out of him. Kiba and Hinata were off to the side trading small talk as Naruto walked into the middle. "Talk about showing off, Naruto," Kiba said as he looked him over. "Not all of us want to see your body. This is mostly for Hinata," Naruto said with a wink, causing the already blushing girl to quickly wipe her nose. "Anyway, I called you guys here cause you guys are what I consider my closest friends. I want you guys to know something that has been brought to my attention as of recently." "Does this have to do that huge power surge you got while we were at the Land of Wave?" Shino asked as he adjusted his glasses. "Yup," Naruto said as he chuckled nervously. "Do you all remember what happened on the night of the Kyuubi? The fourth killed the beast by sacrificing himself." Choji answered, his attention away from his chips and staring at Naruto. "Yes," Naruto said as he started to channel chakra. Everyone watched as the seal on his stomach became visible. "See, the thing about the tailed beast is that you can't kill them. You can seal them away in a sacrifice." "You mean?" Choji said as he dropped his chips. Shikamaru sat up and rubbed his eyes as if he was thinking. "You're the Kyuubi?" Kiba questioned. "He isn't the Kyuubi you told," Shikamaru scoffed. He was the sacrifice. He is the jailer of the Kyuubi. Naruto. He is a hero, Hinata said as she lunged into his arms, giving him a hug. After everything that has happened to you, and you are the reason that those bastards are still alive. It's okay, Naruto said with a smile, trying to calm the unusual angry Hyuga. Mumblings escaped her mouth as Shikamaru nodded his head. I had my suspicions, Shikamaru said as he stood up. You knew? Naruto asked the lazy genius. Shikamaru just shrugged. For how long? Since we got chased out of the one restaurant and the man shouted demon, Shikamaru said, taking a deep sigh. I did a little research on the side and I started to put the puzzle together. And you were still my friend? Naruto asked as tears stung his eyes. Naruto, Shikamaru said with a sigh as he stepped forward. You're so troublesome. Listen, a small thing like that wouldn't change who you are. You are Naruto, still our knucklehead. Our true rival, Kiba shouted with a grin, as he too stepped forward and Akamaru barked in agreement. Our team leader, Shino said as he stepped forward. Naruto looked at him in shock. And of course our village's hero, Choji said with a smile. Naruto looked at all his friends with tears coming down. Hinata was last to speak as she just slowly tilted her head up and just above a whisper. You're mine, she whispered, then snuggled her face into his chest. Naruto pulled her in closer as his tears slowly fell even more. You guys are the best, Naruto said, looking up at his true friends. Thank you. Troublesome blondes, Shikamaru said, causing the others to chuckle. Naruto walked the streets with Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, and trailing behind the group was Shino. They were walking to a weapons shop to fulfill Kiba's end of the bargain. It was about a week since he told his friends and they seemed to be as thick as thieves. They approached a weapons shop that Kakashi had recommended. Naruto stood in the middle of the pack with his orange book out, flipping another page. His orange jacket was left open for everyone to see his chiseled chest and abs. People stared at the seal that Naruto made sure to keep just enough chakra and to show at all times. He was proud to show it. Choji was to his right, munching on a bag of chips with a new haircut. He lost a bet with Shikamaru and the loser had to get a haircut that the others all got to pick. Now Choji had a thick spiked mohawk. His headband was now tied on his arm as he looked at the others with angry eyes. Shikamaru was on the other side of Choji as he too flipped a page of an orange book. Naruto smirked the first time that he got Shikamaru to read it. One more follower of the great Icha series. Kiba had Akamaru on top of his head, looking eager to get to the store and see what weapon would suit him. Shino was passive as always, giving a few people a bit of a scare whenever his insects moved under his skin. Quite the gang here? Said the store owner as they approached the shop. To what do I owe the honor of the Tiger of Konoha? Ha, Naruto yelled, snapping his book together with a clap. I told you, Shino. I'm so awesome. Did you say something? Shino asked as he looked back to Naruto, who grumbled something about finding a fly swatter. We are here to find me a weapon, Kiba said as he stepped forward. We were told by Kakashi-senpai that you were the best around. Well then, step right in, the shopkeeper said. They followed the older man into the shop and were amazed at the amounts of weapons that lined the walls. Kiba was awestruck as he looked at each of the weapons, stopping at a giant sword and eagerly grasping it. What about this guy? Kiba asked as he hefted the giant sword and placed it on his shoulder. Everyone shook their head no. What? That would not suit you well, Shino answered. You need something that can help with your abilities. Something quick and lethal would be better. While Kiba and Shino argued about the weapon, Naruto started to walk the shop. He made his way over to the tonfas and paused. There, laying on a large table, was dozens of different types, from blunt wood types to similar steel types. Naruto was soon looking at a type that was made with black steel. Above the handle was a diamond spike that looked lethal. The back was rounded and came to a ridge-pointed edge. It didn't look too sharp, but being hit bit that would certainly do damage. So you found the tonfas, the man said as he walked up behind him. He took the steel tonfas. These are very special. They can channel chakra to do more damage. Most people don't have the right chakra to use these effectively. Right chakra? Naruto asked as he was handed one of the tonfas. Yes, there are different types of chakra, the man said. These require wind chakra. The most offensive chakra there is, but very rare. Really? Naruto asked, looking up. How do you use it? Channel chakra into it and it will do the rest, said the shopkeeper as he stepped away. Naruto looked at the tonfa and channeled his chakra into it. Nothing seemed to happen, but when he swung it forward he cut cleanly through the table in front of him and half the shelves on the wall. Naruto looked up in shock. He didn't even touch the table and it was cut cleanly in half. The tonfas that were laying on the table launched into the air, causing the shopkeeper to yell out a curse and jump out of the way. Naruto dropped the tonfa as it landed spike side down, standing straight upwards. "Wow!" yelled Naruto, stepping back from the tonfa as if it was possessed. "You're telling me," said the shopkeeper. "There is only one other person in Konoha who is wind element. I tell you what, I will give you a special price on these, the only catch is that you can't use them till you master your chakra control. I can't have you killing people by accident using my weapons." "I'll take them," Naruto yelled as he picked up the tonfas. He looked back to see that Kiba and Shino were still arguing as Choji was holding an axe while Shika just shook his head no. "Can you help out my friend? He needs something that suits his attacks. He is an Inuzuka, have you ever helped them before?" "Inuzuka you say," the shopkeeper said as he rubbed his chin. "They don't normally use weapons. But I do have an experimental weapon that I've been trying to get to Ninja. If he uses it in the upcoming Chunin exams to advertise it, then I will give it to him for free." "Deal," Naruto said as the man walked behind the rec table and produced a small box. He opened it and removed 2 decorative gloves. They had several designs on them and small gems. On top of the gloves extended 3 bronze blades that hooked down at the tips. They were about a foot in length and looked razor sharp. They seemed to be retractable for quick strikes and also protection from the wrist to the forearm. "These gauntlets are going to change the way we view standard gauntlets," he said with a weird gleam in his eyes. "I give you the dragon claws." "That's nice," Naruto said, taking the box and walking over to Kiba, who was now putting the sword up after Shino won the argument. The man face faulted as he watched the young blonde walk away. "Yo Kiba. What you got?" Kiba asked, his eyes widen at the sight of the dragon claws. "These are girly looking. They would suit your skill set up well," Shino said after taking a look at them. "They wouldn't endanger Akamaru either." "Fine, let's pay and get out of here," Kiba grumbled as he put the on, then his frown slowly turned into a smile. "I want to test these out, you up for it, Naruto?" "Sure," Naruto said as he flipped a page in his book. "You don't have to pay for those as long as you use them during the Chunin exams." "Great," Kiba's smile disappeared. "I forgot I got to deal with the team. At least Sakura isn't chasing him around anymore. Let me pay for mine and we can go and test out your new weapon," Naruto said as he paid in for his new tonfas. Having money after the A-ranked mission was great. "Okay, so let's get this straight," Naruto asked as he pulled out his old tonfas. "We go to first blood?" "Yup," Kiba said as he swept his claws together, emitting an almost bell-like sound. "I won't use Akamaru and you can't teleport." "Gotcha," Naruto said, getting into his defensive stance. "Bring it, dog breath." "You're going down, dope?" Kiba yelled as he charged forward. Kiba swiped with his right hand only for Naruto to parry it away and flip his tonfa around to try and stab. Kiba's second hand shot out and swiped away the stab only to follow up with 2 swipes, causing Nawa to jump back. Naruto looked down and noticed his jacket had a small cut. Taking off the jacket, Naruto tightened his gloved hands over his tonfas. "No one touches the jacket," Naruto yelled at Kiba, who held up a piece of fluff on one of his claws. "Oh," Kiba said as he too took off his jacket, revealing his upper half as well. "I guess I didn't get the memo." "GRR," Naruto growled as he charged forward again. "What's going on?" asked a voice behind Shikamaru after a good hour of fighting. Shikamaru turned to see Haku, Hinata and Sakura had returned to the training ground. Choji was watching the fight and Shino was the examiner of the match. He would step in at the first sight of blood. "Kiba got his weapon and Naruto is helping him get used to them," Shikamaru said as he laid down. "They playing to first blood? Kiba's got some new claws, huh?" Sakura asked, watching the fight. "He looks like he's enjoying himself." "Yeah, he's trying to get them down in time for the Chunin exams," Shikamaru answered. "That starts tomorrow," Hinata said as she watched Naruto dodge the another strike. She always liked when he trained without a shirt. Hinata and Sakura sat down next to Shikamaru and Choji. "Yup," Sakura said with a nod. "Kick his ass, Kiba." "Yeah," Kiba said as he jumped back from a strike. "Easier said than done." "These are kind of heavy," Kiba said, looking down at the claws. "They make me a bit slower." "Don't worry," Naruto said as he raised up his glove. "You could have an extra 75 pounds on each hand." "You got to be kidding me," Kiba said, looking at him. "You have weighted gloves. I wonder if I can do the same with these?" "You might just want to get gloves," Naruto said as he put his tonfas away. "It would be better to just never take them off. Using your claws for everyday things would be difficult." "Good idea, but why are you putting away your tonfas?" Kiba asked, confused. "You lost," Shino said as he pointed to Kiba's ear. "He nicked your ear on that last attack." Kiba said as he touched his ear. "Well, let's do this again after the exams." You got it, Naruto said as he pulled out his book and tossed his jacket over his shoulder. Nice try Kiba, Sakura said as Kiba walked back. Come on, we have a team meeting. Great, Kiba said as he threw his jacket over his shoulder. See you guys in the exams, come on Akamaru. Later, Shikamaru said as he too stood to leave. Choji and I have to get Ino. We have some last-minute team training. Good luck in the exam guys, Choji said with a friendly smile and left with Shikamaru. Well guys, I guess we should wait for Kakashi-san, Naruto said as he sat down next to Hinata. Shino pulled out his weapon and walked over to the post to get a bit of training done as well. Hinata turned to Naruto. Kiba's weapon seemed to fit him well, Hinata said as Naruto laid down on his jacket. Hinata's eyes raked his skin, causing her to blush. Like what you see, Hinata-hime? Naruto asked as she turned away, but shot a Junkan shot to his side, causing him to wince as well. Well, it seems that you guys are all here? Said a voice from behind them. Kakashi looked at them then nodded. I see you were training for the exams. Of course Niazan, Naruto said with a wince. Hey Niazan, can you teach me how to control my wind element chakra? I got some really cool tonfas that are conductive to chakra. I can't use them yet but I want to. We can do that after the Chunin exams, Kakashi said as he handed them each 3 forms. Be sure to report to the academy at 10. You guys have the rest of the day off, so use it wisely. Thanks Niazan, Naruto said as he grabbed a form. Naruto turned to the others. Let's grab lunch. The next day the 3 approached the doors to the academy. They were told to report to room 301 and were currently on the 2nd floor where a group of Genin were waiting in front of a door that said 301. 2 larger Genin were blocking the door, telling everyone to leave. Laying on the floor was a cowering Genin dressed in green that Naruto couldn't really see. He was kicked by the older Genin a second before they entered. Naruto was about to walk forward when Shino grabbed his shoulder. Stop, he said just above a whisper. This is the 2nd floor. That is not the room. It's a genjutsu that is set up to stop some of the weaker teams. Let's leave them here. You can't be serious, said a pompous voice from behind them. Everyone turned to see the owner. Sasuke stepped forward to the larger Genin and smirked. Clearly that's a genjutsu. I spotted it as soon as I came in. Idiot, said a voice from behind them. There, standing in all the glory of youth, was a mini-clone of Gainsan. No way, Naruto yelled out. Leeson. Hello Naruto-kun, said the older boy with a bow. Stepping up from behind him was a young girl with twin buns in her hair. She had doe brown eyes and a Chinese-style clothing. Next was another Hyuga, only he was male and had his headband wrapped around his forehead. Najisan, Hinata whispered, stepping forward. Neji looked at her and his eyes hardened a bit. He bowed respectfully. It seems that they will let anyone in. His comment was directed towards Sasuke as his cold eyes landed on him. Of course you should have noticed it. It was set to keep the weaker teams from progressing. You just made our job even harder by making the competition larger. Congrats, you fool. What did you say? Sasuke said, his eyes spinning into his bloodline. Sasuke charged forward, but was struck twice by the Lee. Sasuke was picking himself off the floor as he turned to see the weakling that was laying on the floor earlier, now bowing towards Kiba and Sakura. Sorry for striking your teammate, Lee said before he rose and locked eyes with Sakura. My name is Rock Lee. I would love to take you out on a date. I will protect you with my life. Sakura said with a blush growing on her face. How about you ask after we finish these exams? Yoshi, Lee yelled as he fist pumped in the air. If don't ask, as soon as the exams are over I will do 100 laps. Come on lover boy, said the girl of his team as she dragged him away by his ear. Lee screaming in protest. Wait, yelled Sasuke. I challenge you to a fight. Fine. Lee's answer as he became a completely different person. Sakura arched an eyebrow and a steady blush crept back. Lee stood to his full height and his eyes had a kind of fire in them. Good luck Lee, Naruto called over his shoulder as he walked to the stairs. Try not to beat him too bad. Can't make any promises, Lee said back as he turned and they walked away with a group of people following. May the youth be with you Naruto. And with you, Naruto said as he and his team walked up the stairs. After reaching the right room they looked around. There was teams from everywhere and Naruto soon became a bit anxious. He wanted to see where he stood amongst the teams here. His eyes were suddenly drawn to a short red-haired boy. He was carrying a large gourd on his back and was flanked by a pretty blonde girl with a metal fan on her back and a boy who looked like a cat with makeup on his face. He couldn't help but pause his eyes on the redhead. Something about him seemed familiar but different at the same time. Naruto was shaken from his thoughts as he slugged his arm. He looked down to see a fellow blonde who was smirking at him. Where were you? yelled Ino. Helping Haku get used to Konano was a bit difficult. So Naruto enlisted the help of Ino to help Haku make friends and learn the town. Soon enough Ino became a little sister to him and he couldn't help but smile down at the blonde. "You were going to help clean the shop with me and Haku-chan." "Well," Naruto said as he scratched the back of his head. Hinata walked up and grabbed Naruto's hand and smirked. "He took me to lunch," Hinata said, causing Ino to squeal and dragged the Hyuga princess away, demanding every detail. It wasn't really a lie. Naruto treated both Shino and Hinata to lunch the day they were told of the exams. "He better have treated you right," Ino said as she shook her fist. "Or I will scramble his brain so bad he will think he is 6-year-old girl." "She can do that?" Naruto asked Shino, who looked back at him with a slight grin. "She could have Haku braid your hair," Shino said in a whisper, causing him to shudder. "So where's Kiba and Sakura?" Shikamaru asked as he walked around the blonde gossip and the blushing Hinata. "Oh, Leeson is kicking Sasuke's ass right now," Naruto answered with a grin. "So they must be waiting on him." "Who's Leeson?" Choji asked with a raised eyebrow. "Don't worry," Naruto said. "He's like Guinson's apprentice." "Great, another green-clad taijutsu maniac," Shikamaru groaned as the doors opened again. In came a busted-up Sasuke who was limping on his own. Kiba and Sakura were snickering the entire time as they walked behind him. "Wow," Choji said, looking at the damage done to Sasuke. "Lee must be strong." "You bet," Kiba said as Sasuke slumped off into a corner. Ino waved to him but was ignored. She huffed and turned back to Hinata. "I've never seen someone move that fast," Sakura said, fanning her face a bit. "He didn't even use chakra." "Yup," Naruto said with a smirk. "He trains almost non-stop and has honed his body to become the perfect taijutsu fighter." "Honed body," Sakura whispered as she walked over to Ino and Hinata with a slight blush. "I can't believe the spandex-wearing fool," Kiba said, shaking his head. "Is going to get to go out with Sakura-kun." "Don't worry, Kiba," Naruto said as Akamaru jumped down from Kiba's head. "You will find someone. Who knows, it could be someone in this exam." "Like that would happen," Shikamaru said as he looked around and his eyes landed on a blonde with 4 pigtails. "Troublesome. You should try to not make such a ruckus," said a voice. Naruto turned to see a tall white-haired boy with glasses. He adjusted his glasses and smiled down at the group. "You don't want to become easy targets." "Who are you?" Sasuke asked as he approached the group. "And why should we even listen to you?" "Easy Sasuke-kun," said the boy, causing everyone to raise their suspicions. "How do you know his name?" Naruto asked. "Naruto-kun," said the boy. "As astute as ever." "Well, see, these cards have all the information that I've gathered on everyone in the tournament. I want to know what you can tell me about Rock Lee," Sasuke said, glaring at the boy in question. "Angara of the Sand." "Who?" Naruto asked on the second name. Sasuke just shrugged to the redhead that was staring at them with empty eyes. "Oh, creepy boy, why him?" "We ran into him when we met up for team meetings," Sakura said as the white-haired boy started to give an explanation of Rock Lee. "He's taking the exam with his brother and sister. He was bullying the Hokage's grandson." Naruto said, shifting his gaze over to the siblings. "Why would they mess with him?" "He ran into the Catboy," Kiba answered. "Catboy's got a short fuse and he wanted to set an example. We interrupted and then Gaara threatened to kill Sasuke." "A little disturbed that one," Shino said, adjusting his glasses. "And he has never been hurt," the white-haired boy said as he raised his eyebrows. "On any mission. No one has ever recorded a hit on him." "Okay, that's impressive," Naruto said as he crossed his arms. "By the way, what is your name? I've never seen you around Konoha before." "I'm Kabuto Yakashi," Kabuto said as he bowed slightly. "And I've been a Junin for several years." "Is this your first time as well?" questioned Sakura. Kabuto chuckled as if it was common knowledge. "Of course not," Kabuto said as he adjusted his glasses. "I've taken the exam 7 times now." "What?" Kiba asked, looking at him crossly. 7? These exams must be really hard, Choji said, scratching the back of his head. At that moment 3 figures charged forward. His middle figure looked like a hunched-over mummy with bandages covering most of his face, leaving only his left eye open. He wore a gray poncho with long sleeves, a snake-patterned scarf around his neck, a straw raincoat protruding from the back of his scarf, and a large gauntlet that covered his entire right forearm. The second had spiky black hair and dark eyes. He wore a beige shirt with 2 black stripes and 3 prints of the kanji death down the front. His forehead protector had 2 metal face guards covering the sides of his face. Like the last was a girl with long black hair that almost touched the ground. It was tied together with a violet ribbon that was near the bottom. She wore a green shirt with the same scarf and printed paints as the others. Kabuto acted quick and spun on his heel, pushing the rookie's back while blocking the initial attack from the mummy-looking man. Naruto looked up amazed at the older boy's reflexes as he cleanly parried the strike from the other ninja. Kabuto then fell over backwards and threw up on the floor. "You may have blocked the strike," said the man as he adjusted his gauntlet. "But the sound emitted from it hits you on a whole new level. What did you do to him?" Naruto yelled as he stepped in front of the older Chunin facing the group that chuckled. "Stand down, boy," said the girl as she crossed her arms. "Who are you?" Kiba asked, stepping in front show his fangs a bit. "You guys attacked us." "Shut!" started the boy with spiky hair. The girl took a step back, staring at Kiba with a confused look on her face. "Alright, listen up, maggots," yelled a voice from the front of the room. There, standing in the front, was a tall, imposing Chunin. He had several scars on his face and neck from what looked like old war wounds. The top of his head was covered by a black bandana that was pulled tightly around his head. Over his gray shirts and pants was a large black trench coat that scraped the floor. He wore black gloves that held a file in one hand. Behind him was a line of Chunin that all had their arms crossed. "I am Ibiki Morino," Ibiki said as he looked around. "Head of Konoha's interrogation department. You will follow me into the exam room and take a seat assigned by the number you will receive on the way in. I hope you are all ready for the written exam." "Damn it all," Naruto yelled, causing Ibiki to smirk.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.